Cool. So I'm gonna go through both the repositories and both the packages that I've gotten done with for the IO operations, or the adapter that takes care of creating CSS files for you. So we're just gonna create a demo project using Parcel and using Next, just to see how easy it is to set up, because unless I do this, I won't really know what's actually blocking us from going ahead with it. So in terms of starting off, we'll just start off with the Parcel version. So we're gonna make demo stone, and okay, exists. Cool. One for Parcel, right? So I have the HTML file, I have the CSS file that I want to actually output the CSS into, and finally we're just gonna initiate a package. We're gonna add a few things. We're gonna add Parcel, we're gonna add the Stone package, and we're gonna add the Stone CLI package. We're gonna wait for this to complete. While that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and make some modifications to the script. So in the build, I just have Parcel build index.html. In dev, I have parcel.index.html. That is about it. And dev stone is just gonna be Stone CLI running by itself, and that should be about it. Over here, we're just gonna initiate the HTML file. I'm gonna link stone.css, and also I'm gonna link the main.js file. We're just gonna have dev.app, and basically gonna pick up the app container, and I'm gonna create a few styles. So get element by id app, and we're just gonna create a button for now. So const button, and this is gonna be document.create element a button. The button is gonna have a class list that I'm gonna add to it, which we'll define in a sec. And before we get to that, I'm gonna create a theme config. So theme config.js, and for now I'm just gonna copy it from the docs. So let's just pick up WebIO, copy till here, and paste this, and this is gonna change from dist to Balium.stone, and that is gonna change from demo to stone, and I'm gonna remove their name because it's just gonna be stone.css where it's supposed to output. Fine. So that's about what you have to set up. In terms of remaining, I'm just gonna export dimensions, colors, and CSS from here. And we're just gonna import this into the actual app. So import everything from theme.config, and I just want the CSS for now. In terms of style, we're just gonna define a button style, and this is gonna be CSS, and I'm gonna, for now we're just gonna do background red, and on hover I want to change it to background black. I'm gonna take this button style, we're just gonna add it on the class, and then we're just gonna do app append child and button. That's about it from my side in terms of setting up the Parcel app. And let's just try to run it. Yarn dev, that should run Parcel. Yarn dev stone, that should run the Stone CLI. the environment was originally created here. Add type module attribute. Okay. Imports and exports. Yeah, but I want you to translate it. Did I install Parcel instead of Parcel bundler? Okay, yarn add Parcel bundler. And move this from here. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's done. Yarn dev. Parcel's up and running, and so we have a button that probably works, but just before we do that, I'm just gonna add something to the button. Inner text equals to hello world or whatever. Cool. On hover should be black, and we want to change the color to be white, so that works. Now the thing that this is doing is basically the CSS file that you initiated is getting the style. Now while this works, there's a really big caveat, is as you can see there's two styles. Now these basically change based on your original hash, and the hash is calculated based on your actual CSS string. So you're gonna have a lot of duplicate files over here, a lot of duplicate classes over here. So I would really recommend if you add something like purge CSS or post CSS. So basically you add in post CSS plus purge CSS plugin, or you can add nano CSS plugin. Doesn't really matter, but you're better off using this right now. Later on I really plan on moving this from CSS generated hash to something that is a little more persistent, so that we can avoid this. But for now, if I get rid of this and I just reload this page, it's going to generate the styles again for me. Now this is specifically being done by the Stone CLI server. So if you're going to use the IO adapter, there's a few options you have to pass. You have to pass the file that you want it to render to. So in our case, which is just stone.css, which is right here. If you're gonna add it to a folder, so for example, if I do styles and I move this over here, I have to change this to be the same, styles / stones stone.css. I'll have to remove this, run this, and even change it over here. So styles stones.css, that should start running. Let's just start this over again. Cool. And that should start working again. So it will start writing to this file at this point. Now as I was saying, it is really necessary for you to run the server locally, and while the current server doesn't really work when the node environment is production, so it's just going to return the class during production, so you don't have to actually so let's just actually test it out instead of me just blabbering it out. Yarn build, and that should build the files for you. I'm just going to clear this before I do that. Yarn build and npx serve dist. That's up, run, and as you can see this works as intended. But as I'm saying, so at this point when it's production mode, the class is all that is returned, and as long as the style remains same, the classes are going to be same. So this is going to work in built mode, and it's not going to try to create network requests during this. On the other hand, if this is anything other than production, so if your node env is anything, literally if it's staging, test, anything, is going to try to connect to the Stone CLI server, and we'll try to render data to the CSS file that you mentioned. So at this point, this two properties are like really important. If you want to avoid this and you'd prefer something a little more simpler with, and you just prefer having something right to the what do you say, HTML head, then you can just get rid of this adapter altogether and basically use the other adapter, which is the injector adapter. You don't have to provide any kind of configuration to it, and you just map it. That'll take care up. You can end the server. You can close this. We can just run a normal Parcel server, and it's running 1 2 3 4 each, and this is still gonna work, but instead of writing to a CSS file, it's actually gonna write to your style tag. Now the advantage with this is that it's not really gonna have overlapping styles, because every single time you run the app, it's gonna generate it from the first style. So any style that has modified is gonna get added accordingly. So for example, if I just go back to main and I change this from black, the color to white, and change this to, let's say, background white, color back to black, and I say refresh, it's basically just those two styles. It's not gonna have overlaps. On the other hand, this is not what you're here for. So the whole point of having something like this is so you can actually use themes. So we're gonna add themes over here, and this is gonna be theme dot colors dot button dot the base value, and I want the text to be theme dot color button dot text, and in both cases you just need to execute the dot value function and refresh. And okay, cannot, did I type it wrong? Theme colors, okay, sorry. Yeah, so that works. Cool. And on hover, I actually want to use the same colors but a darker variant. So I'm gonna take base darker by 20% value, and the color is gonna be text, and text is black, lighter by 10% and value, and refresh. And as you can see, this works. I'm just gonna make the button a little more beautiful. So let me just copy styles for that. Button, and this is going to become and hover, and I don't need this bracket, I don't need that bracket. Save, that works. And okay, cool. And we basically what I wanted to show, but obviously not everyone's using Parcel. You might want to use something else. So we're just gonna move into creating a next project as well, because that's like the most used static site generator right now. So I'm just gonna wait for this to generate, and same thing as before, while this is generating, we're gonna set up a few things. I'm gonna add the dev stone, which is gonna run the Stone CLI, and we're also gonna add, okay, we'll add the package later. I'm just gonna add config and theme.config.js. We're just gonna copy this theme config for now. So yeah, that should work. And we're gonna start off with the IO adapter again, and that should be added over here. Cool. That's exporting. Is it ready? It's still installing. Cool. Things that I want to add. Okay, this is done with the dependencies. Yana and Bailey human slash stone and Stone CLI. That should be here in a sec. And cool. While that's going on, okay, it's gonna create the styles folder for me. Are you done? Yeah, you're done. Are you done? I'm not done. I'm just gonna write the styles till then. So let's have styles items.js. I'm gonna have a button style, which is basically gonna be the same thing right now. So copy, and modify this to handle it in the same way, and export, and import CSS from barely human from config/theme config, and that should work. Package.json, it removed the original additions. You're done? Yeah. Cool. Is it importing? Yeah, it's importing. So we're just gonna start the dev server for next, and we're gonna start the Stone server. And before I start the Stone server, I would like to add Stone.css, and I'm gonna remove the home module. I am gonna go into pages. It doesn't matter. App is gonna import Stone.css, and anything else? Yeah, index is not gonna have any of this. It's just gonna have fragments and a simple button with the class name of button style, which will get imported from atoms. This is not needed. None of this is needed, and this is gonna be hello world. Cool. That's up. The place I wanted to be is styles and stone.css. I just cut it. Cool. Run the server. That's listening, and 3000, and we are in. What errors do I have? Okay, course ignorable, and this works. Similarly, if we go back to our style atoms, and again, if you really don't want it to generate a CSS file because of the duplication, and by the way, there are prefixes on the IO adapter. The inline adapter doesn't add prefixes right now. I'll be adding that soon, but the IO adapter does add prefixes, so that's that. On the other hand, as again, if you really don't want it to generate a CSS file, you're free to use the inline adapter, the injector adapter. A lot of libraries actually do directly do this, so you're free to just use the simpler one. You don't want to go with the hassle of setting up a server, so we're gonna just change that. It's still did not match server and client. Oh, okay. NextJS just broke down. I'll have to restart this. Cool. Oh wait, I don't handle SSR, right? That's gonna be an issue. It's equals to so and so on the server. I can actually make it work, though I wouldn't want to do it that way. Just it's importing ESM. Can you just format the whole thing? Okay. I'm just searching for web inject adapter, and can you just take me to it? Okay, so H is web inject adapter. Or else I can actually just do stone ID, and NID equals to so and so, and type of window. So wherever this ends, I can just add should just add return t.class hash, and at that point I should be able to get the same value on both. Okay, I'll have to fix this, but okay, that's an additional task. technically I can do it right now. And never mind, I'll do it later. So yeah, anyways, after I'm done with fixing that, you will also be able to use this on next. Glad I did this demo. Anyways, this still works. Does it? I have to run the server. Yarn dev stone, and that's up. Cool. There are a few caveats right now. So if, the biggest one is possibly that if you go into the WebIOAdaptor right now while making a request to the particular server, I actually digest the error. I really don't I really don't show the error in case the server is not running, and that is something that needs to be fixed, because let's say you forgot to run the server or the Stone server and you're just trying to refresh and you don't see it reflecting a certain style, then that's probably the issue. But there's no good way to like show the error for a particular thing, so that's something that I have to see. But yeah, about it for now. Thanks for watching.